Hey Stushes, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Nisha Marie, your fave for keeping it spicy, keeping it classy, and always a step ahead. And if you ain't on the vibe, we about to be, or you about to be too. Welcome back to my video. This is part 3 of my creating a makeup inventory series, where I am inventorying all of the makeup in my collection to prevent me from just overbuying, really having a good idea of what's in my inventory, and just keeping a checklist, child, because it's grown. I've invested a lot into makeup. Part 1 consisted of my foundations, my primers, my concealers, and my bronzers. Part 2 are detailing the inside of my blushes and highlighters, and this video is going to be all about my eyeshadows. So I have accumulated a lot of eyeshadows over the years, and I've gotten rid of a few, but I have a good amount in my inventory, and I kind of have slowed down a lot on eyeshadow buying. But I recently just picked up some new ones from Color Rain. I'll get into that in a little bit. But so I'm gonna quickly do a review, like in my other one, of all of the eyeshadows in my collection, and then I'm gonna go ahead and inventory, and then I'm really interested to see how many actual eyeshadows I have in my collection, and if I end up decluttering any of them. So let's get into it. Okay, so getting into it, I wanted to start with my Pat McGrath palettes. These are all of my Pat McGrathers. I'm just gonna place this over to the side. So starting with this palette, it is the Mothership Palmetto Ombres. Dang, what's the name of this? Mothership Rose Decadence. Okay, damn, here I go with this ashy damn hand, but whatever. I just used the restroom and washed my hands, so it is what it is. But this is the palette. Super pretty. I have not used this in a long time, but this is a rose color theme that she just like really OD'd, but this is before she had OD. So love her, gonna keep her in my collection for sure. Okay, next up, I believe this came out last year, one of her holiday palettes is the blush and eyeshadow palette. It is Bijou Brilliance Starstruck Splendor. So it has 2 blushes and eyeshadows. So I have that one. I think I actually feel like I'm willing to declutter this, but I don't know if I want to like give it away or sell it, because it's like gently used. I don't know. This one is a holiday palette from a couple years ago, and I actually had another one I gave to my sister, like one of the other holiday palettes, but very colorful palette. This one is the Celestial Nirvana. So that's that. And then I got these palettes. I think this was also a holiday collection. I like to, like these size types of palettes, I like to travel with. I have the Celestial Nirvana, Bronze Bliss, and then the Nude Allure. So this is Nude Allure. Is this a good angle? Nude Allure. Hold on. So this is Nude Allure. Let me see if adjust the light. Okay. So that's Nude Allure. And then this is Bronze Bliss, which I feel like I got the most use out of. Like more bronzy color. There. Then, so these are some of the quads that I currently have. This one, here's the thing with her, and I've thought about this before, but some of them, she don't have the names on the back of them. It's just like these plain golden, it doesn't have the names. And then none of my motherships, actually some of them have the names on it. So some I might know the names off the top of my head, sorry, but at least you can identify at least how it looks. So these, I don't remember the exact name of this one. But I've been wanting to do like a little project where I add the names and like just stick it on there. Damn, how am I gonna inventory if I don't know the name? Lord Jesus, I'm gonna have to do some research while I'm inventorying, like looking on her website to write the names. Lord. Anyways, so that's this one. Look, I think I should probably, oh my gosh, hold on. Okay, so I put it up on the website. So this is the Blitz Astral quad. Blitz Astral. And then this one is the and I wonder if some of you guys are saying the name as you're watching this, because I do not know off the top of my head. I'm sorry, y'all. I don't even know the name. How the heck am I gonna put the name? Yeah, so I hate that she didn't put the names on these, but I don't see it on the website, so I don't even think she sells it anymore. And then this one is Venus and Fleur. Okay, I have not played with these quads in a minute, but like my big motherships I would never travel with. I haven't traveled with these, but I'd be more willing to travel with these small quads versus like the full size. So now let's get into my motherships. Let's see how much I have. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have 10. So I know I've gotten a lot of these like while they were on sale, but if you know the regular price of these, I think I primarily bought these when they were just $125. Imagine 125 times 10. So that's how much money I've spent on these palettes over the years. But again, I've gotten a lot of these on sale, so yeah. But anyway, so let's go through them. So this is the Submersive palette. Submersive. And again, yeah, I think this is like one of her. I think Sublime. Okay, so Submersive. This is Subliminal. This is Bronze Seduction. This is Divine Rose 2. Then I have, this one is Utopian Dreams. This one is Midnight Sun. This one is Divine Rose 1. This one is, I don't freaking remember the name of this one. But this is the one where it's like all like kind of like shimmery, or like, they're not matte, but like shimmer shades. So none of her special shades are in this one. I forgot the name of that one, and I can't find it on the website. Okay, this one is the Sublime, I think. Is this the Sublime? Yeah, I believe this is the Sublime palette. And then this one is let's see this one, Moonlit Seduction. Yes. So all of my motherships, all of the motherships. Yes, so never getting rid of those bitches. Never getting rid of those. I think there's only one I don't have, which is like the pink one. What's the name of that one? The last pink one that I think it came out last year. It's called, oh, they don't even have it here. Oh, Sunlit Seduction. Sunlit Seduction. I don't think I got that one because I have enough kind of her pinky shades. Yeah. So that's that for the motherships. I hope she gives us some new different colors. Just like wow us next year, Pat. Wow us. All right, so another brand that I have a ton of their eyeshadow palettes is Natasha Denona. One of my favorite this eyeshadow palette brands, and she tends to experiment a lot like with her formulas, so it could end up being like a hit or miss, but overall I really like her shadows. So I love, like, a lot of times when I travel with her shadows because they are good for, you know, the size obviously. So this one is the mini gold palette. I don't have to open it, you can kind of see it through here. So I have the mini gold palette. This is the mini starlit palette. This is the mini lila palette. And this one is the mini bronze palette. Okay, so really enjoyed those. And then this is one of the first ever Natasha Denona palettes I ever got. It's a 5-pan. It's Holiday Joya palette. Y'all remember this? I remember this. I was so excited to try out her formula, and I'm keeping this forever. This is a single little shadow that I got like as a as a sample kind of, I guess. So it's like a mini gold shadow, so that's great to travel if you want. This is my least used Natasha Denona palette. It is the Yucca palette. I really like greens, but I just didn't really enjoy this as much on my eyes. This is the only palette where I would probably be willing to give it away. Yeah, so this might get decluttered, but I would want to give it to someone who would probably enjoy it. Now this is the original gold palette. Another like some of like the original Natasha Denona formulas that I purchased and was really excited about. I was really excited about getting this palette. She doesn't make this size anymore, but I loved these greens. Oh, I love this palette. And I pulled it out like sometime earlier this year, but I haven't really use it as often over the years. This was an everyday palette for me. This is the Natasha Viva palette. So very like neutral, warm type of tones. And yeah, so this was like a standard go-to for everyday palette. I also have the Sunrise palette from Natasha. Played with this a lot too. Got some good wear out of her. Oh, I remember I was so hyped about this palette. This is the Metropolis palette. OMGZ. I have to play with this soon. She hasn't come out with these sizes, but I like the size of it. And this is just such a random color story, but it works for some reason. I don't know, I just think jungle or something with this palette. I picked up this palette last year, the Natasha Denona Dream palette. I think one of her best like midi size palettes for sure. And she had it on sale the other day on Sephora for 50% off. And I think it's worth it. So that. And then I have her bronze palette. I played with this a lot too when it came out. So like, I know she came out like with a new, like a new take on her gold palette and all that stuff, but honestly, and like I need a nude and I need a warm or whatever, but I haven't really been inclined again to like buy eyeshadows like that because I have so many. Literally I could go years without buying any eyeshadow palette and I will literally be fine, and I'll probably end up still picking some up, but these are my favorites, or not favorites, but you know, just part of my collection from Natasha Denona. All right, next brand up that I have is Anastasia Beverly Hills. Okay, now this is an old ass palette. Y'all remember Prism? Oh my gosh, this really should get decluttered, but I remember getting this and I just did not reach for this as much. Oops, shit, as much as I probably should have. But this is her, and I'm not decluttering her. I'm not. I am not. But yeah, I have the Prism palette still, child. So that, and then I have the Amrezy palette. So she's a pink girl's dream. So when I really want to go in with like with my pinks and stuff, I definitely be reaching for her. Iconic. I have, oh my god, I love this palette when it came out. This is the Anastasia and Jackie Aina collab. Oh, so iconic. Definitely keeping that. I know it's expired. I don't give a fuck. I'm keeping it. Yeah, and I'm glad she changed it. I remember nobody ever used this the brush that came with this. Nobody ever used that. Nobody ever used it. So I'm glad that in her now like newer take on palettes, they do not put that in there. And so I got this when it was on sale. I got it like for half off. This is the Novu palette. I probably used this once after I bought it and then never again. So that's that, but it's a really pretty palette. Another palette I actually really ended up liking when I got it is the Cosmos palette. This is like a newer version. I mean, not newer version, but one of her newer palettes. Oh my gosh. This is the Norvina palette. Honestly, this could probably get like decluttered, but it still feels so good. Like if I ever wanted to just shop my stash, look at that. Like these are still swatching. Oh my god, look how pretty that is. Look how pretty that is. So this is the Norvina, old as hell. I wonder if they have a year when it come, and it has a shelf life of 18 months, but I am going to be keeping this in my collection. I also have the Soft Glam palette as well. Keeping this too. And I think she has like a new version of the Soft Glam palette, if I'm not mistaken. But this feels kind of like a little gritty. Oof. Oh, I said the mattes are really dry, but it's still showing up like pigment wise. So this is the Soft Glam palette. I also picked this up last year, I believe. This is the Fall Romance, and honestly I really picked it up because of this freaking purple shade. It was this purple shade that sold me on the palette, and it isn't even that impressive on the lid, so I barely reach for this. I don't feel inclined to like declutter it though. So there's that. And then this is the Rose Metals palette. Really nice metal shades from there. And yeah, so that's my stash from Anastasia. All right, so next brand up is Danessa Myricks. I have a few of her palettes. I got the Groundwork palette, and honestly I have a video using this palette. I mostly like use these shades here, but I find this kind of hard to work with. But for some reason, like as I'm doing my look, I don't feel like I'm really seeing much or like coming together, but then at the end it comes together. I don't know how to explain it. But even though I was having trouble with this one, but still managed to create looks, I went and I got another one of the same making, which is the, what's the name of this one? Something Rose. It's the Groundwork Blooming Romance, my bad. So I got this one, and it's a little bit better, but I just don't reach for it as much. And I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna actually declutter it, because I feel like one day I might want to reach for this and like play with it, especially now that, you know, I'm really going to be shopping my stash more often. It'll be worthwhile to like, you know, just kind of play with it more, just get some more use out of it. I would say this has been my most used Danessa Myricks palette. It is the Groundwork Volume 5. I freaking love this. You know why? Because it's minimal work, maximum impact. These duochrome shades, it just adds so much to the look. And even though it looks like very colorful, right? Because if you're not really an eyeshadow wearer and you look at this, you're like, I will never wear any of these shades, but they are just so friendly, so wearable. You don't have to do much, and it just adds just so much dimension to your look. You could literally have like bronzer in your crease, or like a brown neutral shade in your crease, slap this on the top, and you're good to go. So I loved it. And then I picked up, of course, this very fun palette now. For this year, this is the Groundwork 6 palette. It's the Freedom palette. You know, it's stackable, all this stuff, and you know, it looks very colorful, but it's a very approachable, it's just a very approachable palette to color. Oh, that is stunning. It probably looks weird on top of this orange blush that I have swatched on my wrist, but it is such a fun and beautiful palette. And then, you know, you could break this down and travel with it, which I plan on doing soon. So this is going to be like the second most used Danessa Myricks palette that I have. Wait, where did this come out of? Yes. Okay. So that is, those are all of my Danessa Myricks palettes. I have like this right here, which is a pigment, like a multi-chrome pigment, Twin Flames, Crazy for You. So this is also like that swipe and go. It is so, like, her colors are just, they just eat down real bad. Ooh, like the light is just reflecting it like so hardcore, but it's very metallic, shiny, like beautiful. Love that. Okay, so the next brand I have a couple of shadows from is Huda Beauty. Oh snap, look, this is another Natasha Denona. I forgot her. This one is the Mini Sunset palette. I travel with this the most. As you can see, like I'm almost hitting pen on this one. But I had this for quite some time, but I mostly use that when I'm traveling. Okay, I thought, you know what? I thought I actually had more, but I guess I don't. So I know I've gotten rid of a few. So this is her Emerald Obsessions palette. I, you know, love me a green. So definitely keeping that. Then I have these quad, well, it's not a quad, but these smaller ones. This is the Nude Medium. So I barely even touched this. Nude Medium, and then this is Nude Rich. So it's like deeper nudes with some like red or pinky berry kind of tones. So I have those. Then I have the Empowered palette. Such a gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous palette. I actually have this on my makeup tray for this month. I had it for last month and this month as well. So I have this in rotation, but it's a very pretty neutral, I mean, like warm tone shadow, and it has like different finishes as well. And then I have the Desert Dusk palette. So that's that. I don't really use this as much. Should definitely put this in one of my rotations soon. But again, you know, I'm gonna be shopping my stash a lot more so I could get some good use out of these palettes. All right, next up, I want to talk about Colored Rain. So I recently, well, I've been had this one, but I recently picked up these 3 shadows because they're going out of business. These were like $5 a piece or so. Yeah, like it was $2.50, $2.50, $5. This was like the most expensive thing that I bought, but almost everything else I bought was like $2.50, which is nuts. But Colored Rain, I remember when I got this palette, I was so excited. The Queen of Hearts, such an iconic one. I wish I was able to snatch the Safari Rain one, but I was never able to. They took forever to restock to the point where I forgot, and that just never had a chance to make it into my collection. Then I recently picked up the Queen Bee palette, so it's that. So I'm really interested in using this yellow. Love this brownish color here. Love the green. I just love some of these like pops of colors. And I swatched it earlier in another video, and the powders feel really good. So this one is the Secret Garden one. So these are like all mattes. And then this is her Camquad Volume 1 palette. So it comes in with different quads. So it's like the palette is like basically already made for you, so you could, you know, create a look. So I literally just got this. So this has not been used. It has been swatched though, but not used yet. So looking forward to see what looks I create with that. And then, yeah, those are all my colored green. And I have some Juvia Place. Juvia's Place. Yeah, I think these are, damn, these are my only Juvia Place palettes. Crazy. Okay, so the Warrior palette, bomb. This is like my favorite Juvia's Place palette. Beautiful golds and bronzes. And then I have the Tribe one. Is that what it's called? Yeah, the Tribe palette from Juvia. And then I have the Coffee Shop, which it's like just a really nice browns and neutrals sorts of palette. So really like her. Okay. Then I have some Makeup by Mario palettes. This one is the oh my gosh, the Ethereal Eyes Volume 1. And then I have Ethereal Eyes 2 Moonlight palette, which I really like. It's more of like the cool tones. And then I have the Master Mattes, the original one. So this is a really nice like neutral warm palette with all mattes. So even though this formula is a little drier, I like it. I only have one Patrick Ta palette, and it is like the neutral ones as well. So mind you, okay, so these are very similar. So you definitely don't need to have both, but the reviewer in me wanted to compare the two. And so I find the Patrick Ta one to be a lot smoother, buttery blends, but sometimes you have to be careful because it can blend into nothing. Because it's so blendable, it can kind of just look like mud, like on your lids, so they don't really stick in place. So what I kind of like about the Makeup by Mario palette is a little bit drier, but because it's a little bit of a drier formula, like where you place the colors tends to stick in that area, so you can actually see the differentiation of the shades, and it doesn't just blend into one, if that makes sense. So that's that. And then I have this palette from Artist Couture. This is the Midnight Maven one. So when I got this, I loved it. Love the browns, love these little pops of color, and yeah, keeping that. And then I have some Melt Cosmetics eyeshadow palettes. I have this one, and I thought I had another one, but I guess I don't. Let me just double check. Yeah, I guess these are my only melts. Okay. So this is the Gemini palette. As you can tell, I like a lot of greens. So definitely keeping that for when I'm ready for a green. This is another kind of green family, but it has like more of like the metallic shades and more like emerald types of green in the shimmer family. So really like that. And then I recently picked up this palette from Adriana Nicole Cosmetics. These are gorgeous, and these top two rows of shades, they really rival what you could kind of find in like the Patrick Ta eyeshadow duos, which I don't have here, which I should list because they're technically like a palette, so I'll grab those. But I did a comparison of the shadows in my Patrick Ta one, so if you're interested, you can check that out. But I really like her eyeshadows, they're really nice. I also have a single shadow from her, which I don't have here. I don't know where it's at, honestly. Next palette I have is the James Charles palette. Don't really reach for this as much. I remember I got this for the low. I actually was able to get 2, and I got one for my sister. To this day she still uses it. She's not like a makeup collector like me, so she's getting some good use out of her palette. But I don't know, I might actually declutter this one. All right, and then I have a Morphe palette. I have not used this in how long. I actually could declutter this and I wouldn't even remember. This is Artistry palette. Like pinky shades. I mean, yeah, so that's that. And then I have this Makeup Geek palette, Olive You. So that's you. Another green palette. And then I think those are all my eyeshadow palettes. I still have this like empty ass. It used to be filled, but now it's empty. But I'm like, maybe I should like start to collect MAC eyeshadow palettes. I mean eyeshadows to like create my own little custom palette. Do people still buy those from MAC? I know I have not bought it in years. In years. I haven't built a palette. So I think, just looking on the side, I think those are all of my eyeshadow palettes. So I'm gonna grab the eyeshadow duos from Patrick Ta. I got Do You Know Who I Am and Still at the Club. So I'll add those to my list here. I don't have it to grab here. So let's go ahead and inventory all of this crap and let's see how many shadows I have. Okay, so just finished inventorying all of those palettes. It's not as bad as I thought it was, actually. Actually wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. So, let me see. Okay, so here, these are all of my palettes. All of my eyeshadow palettes. I have some individual eye color pigment things, but I think I'm gonna add those into my onesie twosies at the end of all of this. But let's look at how many palettes I have. $69. It don't look like that much when I look at it, but then again, it looks hard to see. Oh my gosh, I forgot to add those 2 Patrick Ta items I mentioned. So let me go and add them now. They are called, I still have the box here for it, crazy. The eyeshadow duos. Eyeshadow. Don't know how to spell eyeshadow. Oops. Shadow duos. Do you? Okay, I'm just gonna put travel size. So not necessarily that they mark it as travel size, but I'm just marking it as like it's small enough to where I can travel with it. So if I'm looking like, oh my god, I want to travel with some palettes, with some good ones I have, without having to sort through my stash, I could probably just filter here. Anyway, so that brings me, well, I was at 69, so that brings me to 71 eyeshadow palettes. Yes. So, yeah, 71 eyeshadow palettes. And I feel like as I'm going through again, I might declutter some, but I'm actually really satisfied with a lot that I have in my collection. So we shall see. So this project is just really going on and on and on, and I've just been so extremely busy, but today I only have time for eyeshadows, so that's what I'll be sharing in, you know, this video. But coming up, y'all, and hopefully I could do this like these before I go to Jamaica in the middle of the month. But you know, upcoming, I have lipsticks to do and my lip glosses. So I have a lot of lippies, lip liners, eyeliners, setting sprays, setting powders, eyeliners, mascara, eyebrow gels, eyebrow pencils. So I really want to just have one final video, so that would be part 4, covering the rest of these items, and at the end of the video it would just be a complete roundup. So I literally have to film that this week because I leave town very soon, so I just need to find a way to create the time to film all of that. But I'm really like, these lippies, these are just lip glosses. These are just lip glosses. This is those are just lip glosses. That's not even including my lipsticks and stuff like that. So it's just a lot. This project was a huge undertaking, and it's crazy. I definitely am not like an average makeup consumer. Like the average person doesn't have this much makeup, but there are people who are just as obsessed with makeup as I am, and even more, and they receive a ton of free stuff. I get to get free stuff from like training products from working at Sephora, but people who get like PR packages and all that, I can imagine how much stuff they have. So this project has been overwhelming, but I can't even say rewarding, but it's been eye-opening as to how much makeup I have. It has not stopped me from buying new makeup. But you know, the Color Rain palettes that I recently got, I ordered those way before I even started this project. It took a while to get here. They're just kind of like slow on their end as they kind of wrap things up, but I recently like picked up like a new matte blush, like a pinch of Marrakesh, and then I got 2 new lip liners from MAC. They came out with some. Anyways, I'll go into that in another video, but it hasn't necessarily 100% halted me from buying new makeup, but I have been resisting. Picking up some stuff. So yeah, that's it for this video. Thanks so much for joining me. Hopefully you enjoyed, you know, this type of stuff. This is just a short series. This is not going to be like forever all of my videos. I definitely have different content coming very, very soon that I hope you guys will like. Anyways, thank you so much for tuning in. Stush babies, you know what I always tell you: stay bold, stay beautiful, and stay stush. Till next time. Bye.